though he hasn't turned up, it's 6:45, then it's 6 o'clock, then it's 6:15, he's still not there. I'm like, fuck, he turns up late to their own surprise. Call him up. So I go up to his house on my bike, I let myself in with a spare key. And I'm trying to write him in the house, he's not in there, and I go out the back, and as I'm coming back through, I run through the lounge room, and I almost trip over. And in the lounge room, on the floor, is Gudmund, and he's lying there, he's got his raincoat in his hand, and he's lying on the floor, and there's no two ways about it, he's just dead. And I freak out. I've never seen a dead body before, and he's lying there, and he's got his raincoat in his hand, and he's a furious look on his face. Like, absolutely furious. His eyes are open, their fucking eyebrows are like pointing down, his mouth is open like this. And I can understand that. Like, he's 95. You think people are ready to die at 95? Fuck, man, he would have lived to be 500 if he could. And he would have been creepy every day. You know, I mean, but I can understand why he's angry. All he wanted to be was a Viking his entire life, and this is the most un-Viking way to die. On your lounge room with a fucking raincoat in your hand. No wonder he's furious, and I don't know what to do. I call the ambulance, and I call Toby and Simeon at the marina. And I'm standing there looking at him, his face looks so angry. I just want to make him look a little bit more peaceful. So I try and, you know, in the movies where you can close someone's eyes, pretty much by just waving your hands in front of their face and using the force, right? That doesn't work. It's a lot harder than it is in the movies. And I closed his eyes, but everything was stiff and hard, and I had to just pull them shut. And his face looked so furious that I just tried to soften it up a little bit with my hands, which is not a good idea, okay? And so his angry eyes, I just turned into kind of like frightened, closed eyes. And I was trying to move his mouth around just to shut it, because it was bared open like this. And but I knocked something in his jaw, right? And I pushed his jaw completely out of alignment to like, bah. And it looked like I just smashed him in the face. I got a cardigan and I covered up his face. And Toby and Simeon arrived before the ambulance, and they come in and I'm just on the couch, just bawling my eyes out. They're like, "You okay?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Take cardigan." I'm like, "What the fuck happened to his face?" I tried to make it look more peaceful. Peaceful? It looks like you just kicked him in the head. You said, "Are you dead?" Bang! And it had. It looked like I kicked him in the face. And you know what? I just burst out laughing. I couldn't, because it looked fucking hilarious. And then they both burst out laughing, and they were like old man wheezy bend over laugh. And I've got a laugh that sounds like a goose fucking a sea lion, right? So between us, we're all making a fucking massive noise, and the ambulance driver walks in. We're all standing around our dead friend pissing ourselves. He's like, "What's going on?" We point to his face. He's like, "What the fuck happened to his face?" And I tried to make it look more peaceful. He's like, "Oh man, you should never go into sculpture." So the ambulance driver takes his body away, and we don't know what to do. Like, he's got no family and no friends, and we find his will. It takes us 2 days. And in his will, he wants a Viking funeral which involves a pyre and burning. How the fuck do you organise that? I rang up the council and I said, "Hi, I need to organise a Viking funeral for my friend with a pyre." They said, "This isn't the year 988. We don't do that anymore." But it's his last wish. And he said, "I don't care if it's his first wish. You're not fucking doing it." I'm like, "Well, what about if you just give me his body and we promise not to burn it?" They're like, "No, we've already given it to a funeral parlour." And they had. It was fucked. It was the tiniest, because he had no money. Funeral parlour in Roskilde. It's a quarter the size of this room. His funeral was pathetic. I know funerals are sad, but this was worse than that. It was sad for the wrong reasons. There were 6 people there, including the guy in the box. Toby, Simeon, myself, Gudmund. There was a guy there from the funeral home to make sure we didn't steal shit, and a guy from the Rotary Club who turned up just to make sure that Gudmund was actually dead and didn't pop out of the box and come back to Rotary, right? And it was a terrible funeral. Like, it was just like, Toby got up and he spoke and he was eloquent. Simeon got up and he spoke and he was eloquent. It came my turn and I just shat bricks. I didn't know what to say. And who was I speaking to? The fuckhead from the Rotary Club that we didn't like? You know, all my friends already... Wil je eens gezien voor die min første gang til begravelse, og det er lidt mærkeligt. Jeg vil gerne være morsomt og skarp, fordi sådan for Gudmund. Jeg vil gerne være åbenhjertig, fordi sådan for Gudmund, men alle uden at flygte. Nej, så jeg skal bare sige tak for denne gang. Og Viking egg. Toby and Simeon stood up, and at the top of their lungs, they just yelled, Viking egg! And the guy from the Rotary Club freaked out. And fucked off. Which was awesome. It was completely faggotronic, right? That made a good funeral, shit funeral, a little bit good. And they took the coffin away, and they came back with an urn. The urn was fucked, right? The urn looked like it had been one of those things that you give to your mum at Mother's Day that you made at primary school, and it's so hideous, she accidentally knocks it off the kitchen bench and says, whoops, but thank you. Right? Now I'm furious at how fucked the funeral was and how fucked the urn is, and I say to Toby and Simeon, I say, this is fucked, let's go to the pub. They say, let's not go to the pub, let's have a funeral. I said, we've just been to a funeral, it's shit. I said, this wasn't a funeral, let's have a funeral. So we get in Toby's truck, we take the urn, we drive to his house, we hitch his dinghy up to the back of his car. Alright, he says, go into the shed, you know what we'll do, we'll make a barge, we'll go out into the fjord, we'll burn it. He said, I've got a section of wooden fencing in the shed, go out there, he said, go and lash the urn to it, put it in the boat. He said, we'll go out and set fire to it. I said, cool, what are you going to do? He said, well, I need to make something, I need to figure something out, because we need this thing to burn on the water, right? I said, burning on the water I can do, right? I'm really good at burning on water. Okay, no chance. So Simeon and I, we go into the shed, we get a section of fencing, we lash the urn to it, we throw it in the back of the dinghy, right? And Toby comes out about 10 minutes later, he's got cream and a box, he lashes the box to the barge that we've made, and he gets cream, and he puts the cream all over the top, wipes his hands, gets in the truck, and we're like, what's that? He said, that's for me to know, and you to find out. We drive down the fjord, it's glassy, it's silent, it's dark, it's still. We've got to get out in the middle, so we've got to row. Now, they can't row because they're 85. I can't row because I'm a fucking model. So, it was pretty much just 20 minutes of them yelling at me about how you should row. We get out to the middle, we put the barge in the water, we get his sword and we jam it in the middle. If you want to make something look instantly cooler, jam a sword in it, okay? I can't stress this enough. If you've got a shit car and you want to make it look cool, fucking jam a Viking sword in the top. There's a section of wooden fencing with a fucked piece of pottery that you put a sword in it, suddenly I was like, fuck, that is awesome. And Toby and Simeon and I, we sat there and Toby said, are you ready? I said, yeah. And he pulls out his lighter and he lights the cream and it just goes... And it's on fire in water with a sword sticking out of it. You can't get anything more Viking than that. That's fucking awesome. And I'm like, oh, that is so good. And Simeon and Toby turn to me, and they're very excited. And then Toby suddenly drops all the, you know, the emotion of the situation and just says, now row for fuck's sake, row! I pick up the oars and I start rowing and I'm like, what are you talking about? He just says, fucking row! I'm like, I just want to look at this. You know, it's a funeral. He goes, it'll be a funeral for 4 people if you don't start rowing. I start rowing and rowing. I'm like, what is in that? He goes, just row, you'll see. And rowing and rowing, and I get about 25 metres away, and the first fireworks goes off out of the box, right? It just shoots up into the sky, and bang! In the sky. It's colourful, and it's loud, and it is awesome. And more of them come. And so it's on fire, it's got a sword, then it's got fireworks, right? I'm like, fucking awesome! He's like, don't stop, keep rowing! And it's previously been quite quiet until we started setting fires and lighting fireworks out of a fjord, which is essentially just a large body of water, right? That's not meant to happen there, so people have started turning on lights. The Marina Guard, not very happy with this, massive floodlight illuminating our little boat. I'm like, okay, I'll row now. And we're rowing and rowing and rowing, but the fireworks look awesome, and I just stopped to look at the fireworks. I'm like, oh, and he goes, don't stop for the fireworks! I'm like, they're just fireworks. He's like, they're not just fireworks! So we row and row and row, and after about 50 minutes, the barge just ceases to exist. It's just bang! Right, out to every side, down, and a massive plume of water goes up, and it comes down as tiny little droplets, right? And there's little pieces of barge and urn and sword and gurmun just go flying all around. I'm like, holy shit, I ducked behind the old guys to save myself, because, you know, they're old, right? Rowing and rowing and rowing. And suddenly both of them, they just grab my leg, and they point forward. And in the shower of water that's coming down in tiny droplets, the marina light has hit it. And in the middle of the fjord, in the middle of the night, is a fucking awesome rainbow. Thanks very much, guys.